We've all got a lot less money nowadays, and hiking gear is expensive. Every day a new piece of gear comes out and it seems to get higher and higher in price. You might notice the name of this channel, Hard Up Hiker. I've learned a lot on how to reduce the cost of gear. I am the Autistic Supershopper. I get the lowest price and just get the best deal because I don't have much money. I thought I'd put together a guide about how to find the cheap gear. You might be surprised about the places you can get some of the best gear. It might not be where you expect. Charity shops. Inspired by Farewell's excellent charity shop hiking challenge video, I recommend you check it out. I thought I'd check out my local charity shops again. I've had mixed experiences with that because being someone who's 6 foot and with size 12 feet, it's not always the best place to find custom gear. But actually, I hit on a winner. I got these new Craghopper's trousers for £10.75. You can see the tag there. Often charity shops will have new donations from shops. And also, I'm not sure if these are new or not, but Brasher trousers for £8.50. These were both from my local cancer research shop. And I've found other things in the past, like this frying pan. It was £5. This was new and boxed at Princess Alice Hospice shop. So you can find some good bargains at the charity shop. Obviously the drawbacks are availability, sizes for me. I get the feeling that the bigger charity shops salt away the more prestigious stuff. You know, you probably won't find Rab or Patagonia in your local Oxfam or cancer research shop or something like that. You might do. It depends on your area as well. If you are in a very outdoorsy area like the Peak District and Lake District, you'll probably find quite upscale hiking gear. Whereas around here, it's more Euro hike, go outdoors type level. Quite often you'll find in the middle of cities, the charity shops are vintage shops, more expensive. I've not tried Vinted. Etsy. Yeah, Etsy is overpriced. So it can be a very good place to start. Right, now next is the online marketplaces. Aliexpress, Temu, Amazon. Now, these can be a mixed bag. Obviously, Temu, you got things like, the Temu pillow. This cost me £3.50. It's a copy of the Aluft Trekology pillow, or maybe it's the same. It looks the same. Quality control is always a fun one because the first one of these had a problem, but I bought 2 of them. This one's been fine so far. So, yeah. It's always an interesting thing about AliExpress and Temu is a lack of a guarantee. But I bought my Lanshan tents, my Naturehike tents. They cost me around £100 each. That might sound a lot for a tent to some, but for an ultralight or lightish tent, that's incredibly cheap, especially for those trekking pole tents. You sometimes find them cheaper now, actually. And this was quite a few years ago. Sometimes the Lanshan 1 can be cheaper than that. Amazon, I would avoid. Only use Amazon if you have to, beyond their dodgy practices. The prices aren't that good, actually. Sometimes Amazon can be cheaper, like on Prime Day or something like that. Often if you check out the company's own website, that's a good hack. You will find it cheaper there than Amazon. I bought a new tent from Asta gear, way cheaper from the company direct. eBay, again, it can be more expensive, sometimes not for new stuff. Always check the company's website, see if they've got a newsletter. If you sign up for the newsletter, often they will give you some kind of promo code or deal. And they'll also have sales and things like that, so it's worth checking out for those. Obviously, we're coming into Black Friday, which is a good time for that. Promo codes on AliExpress can make things cheaper, but I found, interestingly, often Temu is cheaper if it's got that thing. Promo codes themselves outside of AliExpress aren't as common as they used to be, aren't as good as they used to be, but as I say, occasionally you'll find them. And the other one is to look out for codes on your favorite YouTubers. I don't do that kind of thing at the moment, but some people do have special codes and special, like AliExpress has a team group thing that gets you reductions and coins as well on AliExpress. You can play games to get coins and that gets you a few quid off. So there are ways of reducing it down. I would avoid buying mattresses. on Aliexpress or Temu. The support isn't there. As I found out on my light tour, I really wouldn't buy them because you really want something like a air mattress. You really need a company with a good support. Things like tents, fine. You can repair those yourself. People will say this in the comments. China's issues with working practices and pollution and ecology and things like that. True. We'll get to that towards the end of this video. Pretty much everything is made in China or Vietnam, or a lot of the tents that you buy, the MSRs and things like that, they're made in Vietnam. I think Durstons are made in Vietnam. You'd be surprised, even quite American brands are made in the forest. And we'll get into, some of the sellers are kind of rebadging things. Yeah, this idea of, buy local. Quite often aren't buying local anyway, even if you're going with a reputable brand. Although, as I say, you have probably more support for that. The third one is ex-military. This is a really good way of getting cheap gear. It can be heavier, but not necessarily. Some of the more modern army gear is things like Berghaus and Rab and stuff like that. Good examples of these are the Royal Navy foul weather jacket I've mentioned many times on the channel, which I paid about 30 quid for that. And it's usually around that price. You can get it low if more tatty condition, or pay more for something that's essentially new. The other one is the Royal Navy day pack. This, I think, spends about 20, 21 quid on this. It doesn't have all the features, but I use it all the time for shopping. And you could hike with this, like a day hike. It's 35L. It was new. It was 2022 was the date on the label, but it was basically new. It's way better than, say, what you get at Go Outdoors. So those little Euro hike things, which are good, but it's a bargain. As if for army, they are meant to last. My OA army pack falling apart now, but I had it for about 3 decades. If you can find a military surplus place near you, then great. If not, online, eBay, the usual places. And now the problem with Google and comparison sites. A lot of people don't realise that Google and Price Runner, Price Spy, those kind of sites, they're paid to promote certain things. What is on the site, and not just advertised to you, but actually appears in the search queries for the shopping tab, are paid for. And so you won't get the best deal with those. It's good to look at, but often, no, whatever appears on the first page in a search result is usually paid for. And the prices reflect that. It's a bit like paying for advertising, like a big brand pays for advertising, so they're more expensive. Same thing. If you're using Google, you need to go into page 2, page 3, page 4, and really go through and use those prices you find on the comparison sites as a starting point. Don't go, oh, there's that cheap thing there. Sometimes, but often those sites are dodgy. You won't get the best price from doing that. I find DuckDuckGo a bit better on the shopping tab. You can order it by price, descending and stuff like that. I don't think you could do with Google shopping tab, although they've messed around with it. The next one is discount retailers and high street retailers. This is things like Decathlon, Trespass, Sports Pursuit, Alpkit, Mountain Warehouse, Sports Direct, sportshoes.com. I've lumped them all in together because I know there's a little bit difference between the brick and mortar retailers and the other ones, but they're kind of a bit of a muchness. It really will vary about what bargains you'll get from those, whether they're having a sale, and also the quality can vary. Like we found with the Mountain Warehouse socks that had a hole in them almost immediately. A good examples are things like the Puffy jacket I'm wearing from Decathlon, the infamous MT100, that's still about 60 quid. Though interestingly, they've brought out one MH100, but it's a bit cheaper. It's a good idea to check other high street places like TK Maxx or TJ Maxx in other parts of the world, because I got this, you might have seen this in my video, Berghaus Polartec Marco fleece was about, I think it was 30 quid. Occasionally they'll have outdoor stuff, not often, but sometimes. I've had issues with Alpkit as well. 3 of the things I bought, the solar panel, the battery, and the chair, the Vagabond chair, have failed on me. Now, they do have guarantees, so I returned the chair. A lot of Alpkit stuff is rebadged Chinese stuff. They have a remote canister stove, which is fire maple. Basically, it's the same company, they make it for them, so it's like a slightly amended version of one of the fire maple stoves. The OEX brand is interesting in Go Outdoors, that usually things like this that you get very cheaply, kind of no brand. Yeah, these kind of pans and pots and things like that, you'll find them and Van Gogh are just rebadging generic Chinese stuff. So, you know, you'll find it better on Temu and Aliexpress, that kind of thing. You get better guarantees, but it's also not a bigger bargain. So, the next one might be a surprise if you've been checking out my bargain watch series, my shorts. Aldi, Lidl, supermarkets, they all have hiking ranges or sports ranges or skiing ranges, and you can get some really, really good stuff. We have the Aldi pump, the Adventuridge pump, which I mentioned in a short. This was 10 quid. It was actually reduced down to £3.50. I should have waited for it, but I bought it when it came back because in my area, Aldi and Lidl things are quite limited. Aldi merino socks, that's 5 quid for 2. Again, I didn't get those around here. I got them outside of London. It really depends on where you are about availability. It seems like London has a really poor selection from Aldi and Lidl, even though they're based here. At Lidl, about 2 miles away from me, that's their UK headquarters. Do we get the best stuff around here? Do we that? And the Crivit chair. Featured a lot in my recent videos. I have to thank Paul, rest in peace, for putting me onto this. This is a little ultralight chair. It's about 9 grams. It was £13 in the shop, whereas I had to buy 20 odd quid because I got it from eBay. There are people who resell these things. But yeah, really, really good. Now, the downside, things sell out quickly, and also they're very season dependent. Like they'll bring out, you know, the hiking gear at certain parts of the year. The reason why this pump I've been looking for nearly 2 years. I'd heard about this pump, but it never arrived at our local Aldi. Lidl did their own version, which is about 13 quid, which was a little bit smaller. Yeah, this is very much like the Flextail tiny pump. Unlike the Flextail pump that I did the video on, this actually does inflate all my... Flextail Zero is underpowered. And yes, look outside of hiking, look at the sports stuff. I mean, this shirt I'm wearing, I can't remember how much I got this for. I think it was like about 7 or 8 quid. I wear it a lot in my videos. I wear a lot when I'm hiking. Also, I've seen kind of like small day packs in there, which look very good. And hiking poles. Second hand. Now, this could be eBay, could be places like CEX and forums like Reddit and other places, you know, second-hand shops. Because of YouTube's silly policies, PAWN shops. Just because it sounds like something that's banned on this platform, which is, I know, ridiculous. And also companies have a refurbished Second Life outlet, like Apple. The phone I'm recording this on, the iPhone, is a refurb from Apple. So it's worth checking out demonstration stock or stuff like that. Always check out the new price first, because eBay's prices can be overpriced. It seems like people buy it a long time ago and they think that it stayed at the same price and they don't check to see if it's cheaper. I'm wearing the DJI Mic Mini. If you go to eBay, you'll find people selling it secondhand for the price that DJI are currently selling it for. So you need to check that. And with eBay, it's best to go for buy it now rather than the auctions. It's just usually a better deal. You've got Snipe tools. I know some people have a problem with those, some sellers, but Snipe tools like Gixxon are really good, especially for racking up a lot of things. I've recently bought the Exped Synmat LW9, which has got an R value of 6, but that was 88 quid. So you can get massive bargains. I set up a notification for the Exped LW, eventually popped up. So when you do a search, you can say save this search and then do an email notification, and that's always good, because so if you set, like if you want something on eBay like the Exped, downside is that you can get auction fever, carried away in the bids. One of the good things about Snipe tools is you can set like a low ball figure and just rack up lots of them the same thing. And yes, you'll miss out, but you'll be surprised sometimes someone set an auction on a day, it was like a football match, or it's the middle of the night or something. And the final thing, which might be strange to say in a video like this, is buy nothing. Don't buy anything at all. Reuse, repair, recycle. We all get into this gear acquisition syndrome where, oh, we must have the shiniest thing. And the question is, do you really need that? Do you really need that shiny new thing? Do you really need that new tent? Do you really need that new sleeping bag or that new stove that all the YouTubers are plugging, and so on? Part of the reason why I do a real deep dive and look into buying something and spend months researching it is it stops me just buying a new thing. I don't have that kind of money. It took me 6 months of research to get the new intent. I repaired my Aegismax Nano sleeping bag. I just sewed it up and repaired that. Did that video about repairing the tent. It's better to repair and recycle things like this, about the fuel bottles, about using plastic bottles for fuel. So reusing and recycling, you know, that's all better for the planet. For your wallet, it's better for everyone. It's one of the reasons why I'm really wary about making gear videos. And I really wanted to push the second-hand charity shop thing and also not buying anything. My videos on my channel track better when I'm plugging something. They can advertise better against things when I'm plugging something. But I'm not happy about being in that life cycle. You know, I'd much rather people get things that they really want. And always on this channel, I've been about budgeting and also reviewing things honestly, so you're not going to waste your money. But I don't really want to be pushing gear just because it's good on YouTube. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, please click like and let me know down below what your biggest bargains were, what your best deals were in any of these categories. I'd like to hear it. And also, don't subscribe. Yeah, you heard that right. If you're interested in gear and videos like this, it's not something I usually do. What I want is people to subscribe if they're interested in hiking, interested in my hiking trips, and I vlog about those, or they're interested in my art. Now live stream my past artwork and also drawings and paintings. If you're interested in those things, then yes, please subscribe. Otherwise, don't subscribe. This is not the kind of video I usually make. On screen now will be the gear that stayed and some of my gear videos down here somewhere. And I hope you're well, and I'll speak to you soon.